All right, chat. Let's watch another one here from OmniArch TV. I've been actually kind of sick, so I didn't post anything yesterday, guys. I'm really sorry. I've been sick since like Halloween, dude. It's like been really killing me. I must ate some poison candy or something. But I've been in bed for like 2 days, so I don't know what's going on in the world. So let's check out this video. But it's sounds like it's some positive news about the lawsuit. So let's check this out.
Nintendo's legal department is not having a good week, ladies and gentlemen, and this time it is way more serious. This morning, the United States Patent Office has officially set its sights on Nintendo, and the latest update is honestly shocking. It's shocking not only because of how bad it is for Nintendo, but also because of how rare it is for them to take measures like this. But the craziest part about this latest decision is that this may have stemmed from you guys, the gamers. Like literally you guys watching these videos has actually helped spread the word about Nintendo's insane legal overreaching, and the backlash has gotten so big that it actually reached the United States Patent Office. So today we're going to dig into
Which is funny because in our last video when we talked about the Japanese patent issue, how they're like revoking it and stuff like that, we talked about how the English one is the Americans are going to be following what Japan does, and like the biggest, like the strongest thing in this case is like us, the people, talking about it, like the outrage, fighting back with your money, not buying Pokemon ZA, you know, the sales going down. All this is going to have an impact on it, so it's great to see that we're actually seeing some positive things from the outrage from the fans. So thank you to everybody who's been like watching these videos, mine, his, everybody's. It seems like everybody who makes content about this is like everybody's excited about it because they want to see positive change. So it's just great news.
the latest update is from the US Patent Office and what it means for Palworld. But first, what's going on, guys? Cheers. Now real quick, I just want to thank everybody who's been liking the videos lately and using the new hype feature, because as you're gonna see in this video, spreading the word about Nintendo's insane legal tactics is actually working, and it's all thanks to you guys. Okay, let's jump right in here and hope that Tiger doesn't destroy everything behind me, because she is not supposed to be on the bookshelf. But anyway, huge blow to Nintendo. Head of US Patent Office takes rare step to order re-examination of summon sub character and let it fight in one of two modes patent. This was just posted by Florian Mueller over on Games Fray. So here's what just happened. In a stunning development attributable to the public outrage that started here on Games Fray and reflecting concern over implications for the reputation of
The guy who was running the department played ZA, and he said, you know what, I can't, we got to look over these things again.
the US patent system as a whole, US Patent Office Director John Squires has personally ordered, at his own initiative, his organization to take another look at Nintendo's US patent number 397. The director determined that ex parte re-examination was in order because of two older published US patent applications, one of which was filed by Konami in 2002 and the other by Nintendo itself in 2019, that was further published in 2020. Either one of those prior art references, quote, teaches a player being allowed to perform a battle in a manual mode and in a simpler automatic mode, end quote. This may be the first such order in more than a decade. That's right, folks, this might be the first time in over a decade that the US Patent Office director has personally ordered a re-examination of a patent. You heard me right. The backlash that started on Games Fray and has spread throughout social media, through articles, through hundreds of YouTube videos, and from millions of you guys watching, the backlash has gotten so big that the actual director of the US Patent Office is doing something that, according to them, this is the first time in over a decade that we're actually seeing a re-examination like this.
So when you hear people say like it doesn't matter, they're gonna do whatever they want, like those negative Nancy's, you guys can't change anything, blah blah blah, that's inherently wrong. Like, it's like that movie Ants. If all of us come together, there's more of us than there are of them, and that goes for everything: politics, gaming, anything that we are the consumers have the power in everything. The general population has the power, so don't ever forget that. Like, take this into consideration and let this be something that you take to heart, because we really do have the power if you stand up.
And you know Nintendo is furious that the backlash is actually actually working. Let's continue to read on and see what the impact is. A re-examination order is not a revocation order, which would not be possible in this form anyway, apparently, and even director initiated re-examinations can result in a patent being upheld, but it is highly likely that the United States Patent Office will revoke Nintendo's 397 patent, the two prior art references underlying the director initiated order for ex parte re-examination address the element based on which the original examiner thought that Nintendo's patent was distinguishable from the prior art. So what they're saying here is that the backlash got so big that the director of the patent office heard about it, and then they were like, well, wait a minute, there's these two other patents, one of which from Konami in 2002, another from Nintendo themselves in 2019. If we have these other patents that already exist, then wouldn't it be the case that Nintendo's new patent number 397 is actually not distinguishable from that prior art, in which case maybe they're going to re-examine it and just throw it in the garbage. So here's what happens next. Nintendo has 2 months to respond to the order, and if any third parties wish to up the ante for Nintendo further, though it does not appear to be necessary, they can bring their own challenges and present, for example, prior art relating to games rather than patent documents. And I think this was the Achilles heel when it came to the most recent report that we did covering Japan's patent office rejecting Nintendo's application for another patent relevant to Palworld, because real quick, if you guys missed that video, basically the patent office in Japan is now actually looking at real games, real actual examples that are on the market, and they're looking at that and saying, okay, well, clearly these games have existed. I mean, we talked about Monster Hunter 4, like these games have existed for over a decade now.
Yeah, if you guys remember, there was like a bunch of games on that list too, so they're reiterating that these games came prior to this patent. And one of the funniest ones was when they mentioned Pokemon Go, because Pokemon Go is, yes, a Pokemon IP, but Pokemon Go is Niantic, right? So it's a different gaming company. So they use Pokemon Go as a reference to this patent, saying, hey, you guys are not very distinguishable from these other patents, so we're gonna, like, you have to re-amend it. So they gave them 60 days to come and amend it, to try to retinker the wording to see if it would fall into the right justifications for the patent, which I don't think is going to work. I don't think it's going to happen. It was one of the videos we made, like as we said, it was like a big W for Palworld. And honestly, like, we're not like cheering for Palworld or for Pokemon, right? We're just cheering for what's right, and the right thing is to go with Palworld in this case, because what Nintendo's doing is just sleazy. It's like unjustifiable. There really shouldn't be any patents when it comes to gaming like this. Like, you could have IP, like, you know, like Mario and Luigi. Yeah, you can't put those in a different game if you're not Nintendo, but that's about it, dude. They shouldn't have like mechanisms be patented. It's just stupid.
With some of these mechanics that Nintendo is claiming to have recently invented, right? And so it's possible that a third party may jump in here and also provide more prior art games to bolster this argument. But honestly, you know, let me be clear, I'm not a lawyer, I'm not a legal professional, nothing in this video is legal advice, okay? But I feel like if the literal director of the patent office is setting its sights on Nintendo and is re-examining this with already having two prior art examples of existing patents, then I feel like they're already cooked, perhaps. But yeah, and you know Nintendo's lawyers are going to respond.
Well, we already thought they were cooked from the first video we did, and then we did a follow-up on watching his, and he was saying, like, it is not the win that a lot of people are giving it, and there were a lot of people who were jumping ship and said, oh, we won. So he, you know, OmniArc is correct that it wasn't the win that everybody was saying it was, but it was a major blow into the case, because now they have to go and re-come up with everything. And if you're not aware of this, they have multiple patents going on, like the kite, or like the glider, whatever we call it, the glider mechanics and stuff. But the balls, the Pokeballs and the Fears, the way they capture and release the Pokemon, was their strongest case. When this all started, everybody said everything they're talking about is just stupid, but they might have a case. Their strongest case is going to be the capturing. So that they having to go back because of Japan saying this, and now the Americans are looking into it, it's like, unless they start paying off people, I think Palworld is going to be in the clear, to be honest. I think this is coming close to done soon, because Japan already gave them the time to go back. Now America's doing it. I'm looking pretty good for Palworld, in my opinion.
they're gonna do it. I mean, the legal department at Nintendo is insane, and later in the video we'll actually cover another lawsuit that Nintendo is involved in, so stay tuned for that. But let's take a look at the wider ramifications here. Okay, this development further undermines the credibility of Nintendo's patent assertions against Palworld. Man, I could not have said that better myself. This is now the second case in as many weeks where a patent or patent application related to the patents Nintendo is asserting against Palworld is viewed skeptically by one of the world's top 4 patent offices, the other 2 big ones being Europe and China, of course. But get this, the last confirmed director initiated order of an ex parte re-examination was in 2012. The all-time number of such orders technically changed in 2019, but based on our research, that fact was due to a change in counting methods. So the actual last time that this occurred was 2012. So it's been over a decade since we've seen something like this, which again, I feel like probably means that this is pretty serious. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just a goofball on YouTube. I don't know anything about the legal system, but I mean, like, if something like this is that rare, then you know Nintendo did not see this coming. They are being blindsided by this.
Well, like I said earlier, this is a huge impact on the gaming sphere. You know, like the entire gaming world will be changed by this. If you guys remember, there was a huge uproar when what was it called, Mordor, the Shadows of Mordor, when they patent the Nemesis mechanic. There was a huge uproar about that, like how it could have such an impact on the gaming world, how it's wrong to do those kind of patents. So this one is that, but on steroids. This one is taking something that is so minuscule and it's like really going after another game because they don't want to fight competition. So this is like, it's even if this was like justifiable, I think it'd be hard to even allow this to pass because it could just destroy the whole gaming industry.
They thought they were in the clear already, and as it turns out, the backlash got so big around this, and the director was like, oh, actually, wait a minute, hey, wait, everyone's right, this is actually BS, like, this is so stupid, let's re-examine this, right? And this is my favorite part. This is what I said at the beginning of the video. The article goes on to say, the only plausible explanation is that the United States Patent Office's leadership became aware of all the negative publicity surrounding the grant of patent number 397 and wanted to correct this mistake. No system is perfect, which is why there must be processes in place to fix issues. That is what the US Patent Office is demonstrating. So I wasn't being hyperbolic when I said earlier that, like, the online backlash, literally you guys watching these videos or reading these articles or spreading the news on social media, right? Like, it's actually working, which is it's rare, right? It is genuinely rare that online backlash actually has a real world impact. I mean, let's be honest, the Switch 2, for example, has
It is crazy to think that these guys are watching you guys' comments and stuff and like all the hate comments, and they're like, oh shit, man, oh shit, we gotta do something about this. It's like kind of crazy to actually think about that. But hey, I just saw on X a senator fighting with Nick Fuentes. You know, like, what kind of world are we living in where you have a senator arguing on X with I guess you want to call him like a YouTube or a Rumble star or whatever he is. But like, you have like, it's like a weird world we have right now. Like, CEOs are literally talking to YouTubers. Like, Elon Musk is fighting with Asmongold like a couple months ago. Like, this is a crazy world, man.
had tons of backlash with game key cards and like bricked consoles and all sorts of other things, and yet it just surpassed 10 million in sales. So really the online backlash hasn't done that much. We'll talk about the Switch 2 sales in just a minute because there is actually a big update for that. But in this one specific case, it actually looks like all of the negative publicity, which started with the Games Fray, so huge shout out to them. Of course, all their articles are always linked in the description. It actually seems like it's working. The article goes on to say what makes this initiative even more remarkable is the fact that since Director Squires was appointed by President Trump and confirmed by the US Senate, all of his other measures made it harder to challenge patents. The first time he intervened with respect to a particular patent, he actually revived a canceled patent, declaring expert testimony unreliable. So I think what GamesFray is trying to say here is that this patent office director is typically against challenging patents, and even still he is personally issuing a re-examination order, which again makes this a really big deal and probably will not end well for Nintendo. GamesFrey goes on to say, normally expert re-examinations result from a petition by a company that has to defend against a patent, has been threatened, or anticipates litigation. Here, however, there was no other company involved.
So clearly Nintendo has not been paying the bills, right? Their little under the table money. They haven't been paying enough apparently, right? That's that could be one thing, dude. That could be a real case.
The US Patent Office director himself took the initiative. They go on to say, to be clear, Nintendo does obtain patents on genuine technical inventions, which are typically hardware patents, but it has also sought to abuse the patent system by monopolizing game rules. Nintendo regularly has to try to invalidate other companies' patents. And here's what GamesFrey thinks about this whole situation.
And that's what we're saying, that this is a terrible practice, that if it's allowed to pass, that this is just going to have a huge negative impact on the gaming community. Your games are just going to get shittier and shittier because now they don't have to try, like we saw with Pokemon ZA, but now they're, even if they want to, like somebody else wants to try, they're going to be able to shut them down for some BS like this. So you're going to have your major franchises, and that's it. You're going to have slop, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse, and there's not going to be competition because they'll be sued for all these patents. So this is another reason why this just cannot win. This is like the end of the world for video games. This is how important it is.
Situation. They said this order by Director Squires is good news for the US patent system and for that small company named Pocket Pair that is forced to defend against Nintendo's patent assertions. By extension, it validates GamesFrey's concerns over the grant of this patent and the criticism voiced by others who subsequently voiced similar opinions. That is you guys on social media. That is me making these videos. And so in the last week or two, Nintendo's legal department has taken two massive blows. First, in the United States, which is a very serious one. Obviously, they're not currently suing Palworld in the United States or claiming patent infringement or anything like that, but if they were considering doing it, they're going to have a harder time now, because now the director of the patent office himself is aware of Nintendo, what their legal strategy is, and how,
which was something a lot of people were concerned about. If they win the Japanese one, what happens if they just come to America and redo the lawsuit, and with the corruption backing Nintendo, if they're able to bypass that and get it done, then can you imagine if they would say, okay, well, you won in Japan, but you can't win you're not going to win in America, so therefore you can't publish the game in America. So this is one thing a lot of people had concerns about, so it's a great thing that this is happening, to be honest.
How they are trying to strong arm other gaming companies with these insane patents that make no sense. And then the other one is in Japan. Again, I just made a video about this, but one of their patent applications was rejected by the Japan Patent Office, which wasn't a patent directly used against Palworld, but it was in the same family, which implies that other patents within that family may also be rejected as well. Let's see what Reddit has to say about this. I'm sure they're going to be super excited. This was posted over on PC Gaming 6 hours ago. Top comment is good. Nintendo. That's that's pretty much exactly what I thought. The top.
I've gotten so many of those comments too in my videos, exactly like that. So funny, bro.
Comment would be, someone responds, I would love to see them face some repercussions for patent abuse, but it's not just Nintendo. There's more blatant examples of, quote, this is an obvious solution to a common problem that doesn't warrant any patent protection in this industry. The obvious solution would be game mechanics can't be patented. Person says, remember when Bandai Namco patented minigames during loading times? Seems that patent ran out in 2015. Maybe devs should bring it back for some modern games. That's actually crazy. I didn't even know they did that, but now that I think about it, didn't some of the old Dragon Ball Z games have little mini games that you could do in the loading screens? That was always super cool. That's a core memory I completely forgot about. So in a response to this person saying the obvious solution would be game mechanics can't be,
I've never heard about that in my life. I don't think I've ever played a game that had a mini game while loading. Wouldn't that defeat the purpose of loading? Because then you're taken away from the system playing a mini game, right?
patented. This person goes on to say, that's really what should happen. Movie filming techniques can't be patented. Why are games different? If someone makes a dolly zoom in a game, they can patent it if they can find that no other game has done it, despite it being in film for more than half a century. Patent attorney here, that's not true. It would be considered obvious unless there's a particular difficulty in implementing it into a game. So yeah, I don't actually know what's going on there, but I mean, let's be real here. We've seen Nintendo patent things that already exist in games anyway. They basically just issue the patent, and if the patent office can't figure out if it's legit or not, they pass it, and then they just wait for a challenge, it seems like.
Well, that's what's happening with the Japanese one. And to be honest, like, I just think we should get rid of this whole patent thing in video games. Like, it's stupid. Like, every video game is like either inspired or an improvement of other video games. Like you have, like, what's the name, Frogger, it jumps over the road. Like, can we say, oh, Frogger was on the road, so there's cars driving by, so, you know, that's a patent for Mario Kart because that's cars driving on a road? Like, stupid, right? Like, just the logic is stupid.
I mean, again, I'm not a legal professional, but that's what it seems like is going on here. The solution should be you abuse the system, all your patents become public domain. I mean, absolutely based, am I right? I don't know if we should go that far, but like, definitely think that there should be some repercussion, right? This person says, hope they lose the Pocket Pair lawsuit, so maybe Nintendo will drop their hubris, but that's wishful thinking for these filthy scammers. And this guy responds, not until the Nintendo adults stop supporting everything they do. And this is,
it's crazy how that's like a new term now, and that's like happened within like what, the last couple months that I've been seeing it everywhere. A Disney adult and now Nintendo adult. I've been hearing that all the time now, which is crazy because it's so true and they're so relevant. Like, they're so similar. A Nintendo and a Disney adult, they're so similar, bro.
like my number one thing that I've talked about with the Pokemon videos is that you're just not gonna get a better product until you start to vote with your wallet. It's really that simple. They're going to keep doing exactly what they've been doing, and that's it. And this guy says Nintendo will never stop being litigious. They have been for 50 years. This person says Nintendo can get when you get overly greedy. Sooner or later there will be consequences. Holy shit, we are going into the good ending. This person says this seems reasonable. Prior art references implies their more recent patents doesn't make a novel step to improve upon previous patents which have inventions that are similar to this new one. By referencing Nintendo's own previous patent and one by Konami, the director could be saying, hey, you guys really aren't patenting anything new, it's already been referenced in the past well enough, and denying them the opportunity to reframe what's already patented in a way their lawyers could benefit from in court. And so this does really feel like, you know, a nail in the coffin if they wanted to take Palworld to court in the United States. This is kind of a preemptive stopgap on that to say, hey, look, this, you're not going to use this patent, at least, that's for sure. But there was one legal dispute this week that did go in Nintendo's favor, and that was against a literal YouTuber. That's right, folks. Guy who streamed.
Oh, we already talked about this video. We already talked about this in our last video. Yeah, this is crazy, man. This is absolutely crazy that this happened. I just, it's like but this one is a justifiable lawsuit. Like, if you guys, I'm sure you guys watched the video already on the channel, and if you haven't, this one is, this guy is not innocent in this one. I don't even know why he would do this one. It's just stupid. Just so stupid that he would do this.
Pirated Switch games and told Nintendo, quote, capitalism is cancer, must now pay $17,500. The player who pirated games like Mario and Luigi Brothership lost the lawsuit. Gosh, who could have seen that coming? This is the third lawsuit that Nintendo has won in a string of lawsuits against individual.
The fact that this guy would do this, man, it's like the cojones on this guy. Not only he stole, I don't even know how he could pirate early games, like where'd he get them from, but then he streamed them and told Nintendo, like, come get me, I don't care. Like, dude, so dumb.
People, either for IP concerns, copyright concerns, or whatever the case might be. We reported on all of them on the channel, and everyone keeps losing to Nintendo. The first one, somebody lost because they didn't even have legal counsel. They just defended themselves and then lost. The other one, the dude stopped like responding, I think, and his lawyer even stopped responding. And I don't know what these people actually think is going to happen here, but Nintendo is just Exodia obliterating these small individual people in these lawsuits. Okay, let's see what the article has to say here, Jesse Kyan, sorry if I mispronounced that, faced over $1 million in potential damages when Nintendo sued him for streaming allegedly pirated copies of its games ahead of their official release. Guys, I'm not a legal professional, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say you probably shouldn't do that. Like, yeah, let's not do that. Okay, first of all, piracy is illegal. Okay, no matter how you feel about it, it's illegal. So first of all,
and it sucks because now Nintendo has a lawsuit under their belt that's like justifiable, and you can't we can't dog on them for this, because this one is, I know some people in the last video were talking crap about them too, like, no, screw Nintendo, they're always suing people, but like, honestly, like, if somebody did this to your company, like, you would probably sue too, you know, you'd probably sue too.
Probably don't do that. Okay, but also, if you're gonna do it, don't broadcast it to the whole world. Like, what are you doing? Are you serious? That is the dumbest thing I can actually imagine. Okay, so I really do struggle to feel bad for this guy now that I know that he literally just streamed it publicly. Like, what an absolute idiot. But anyway, the article goes on to say, when the company initially issued copyright strikes against his channel, he reportedly responded by trolling the Mario Maker and sharing ways to pirate its games. He has now lost that lawsuit and owes Nintendo $17,500. Honestly, he was facing over $1 million in potential damages. Maybe he had a good lawyer. That's pretty cool. I mean, good for him. It's only $17,500. Not bad when it comes.
That's what I said, to be honest. Like, I thought Nintendo would have got way more out of this. Like, $17,000, and you like literally are leaking their games beforehand. Can you imagine if I was streaming ZA before we had ZA out there? Like, dude, like, I would have been like shitting on it, and I would have made sure people didn't buy it. Like, I thought 17,000 was very lucky for that guy.
Comes to Nintendo, right? The court issues an injunction preventing defendant from infringing Nintendo's copyrighted works, including by streaming and from bringing in Switch emulators, Nintendo's proprietary cryptographic keys, or other software or technologies that circumvent Nintendo's technological protective measures, U.S. District Judge Gordon Gallagher wrote in an order issued earlier this week. But what's most remarkable is how defiant Jesse remained throughout the entire case. Quote, "Love y'all. Capitalism is cancer. My channel is being deleted for sharing gameplay videos. This is your reward," end quote. He posted on social media when he first caught the attention of Nintendo's legal department. Even after the lawsuit was filed, he continued to troll the company despite not mounting any legal defenses of his own. He even posted, quote, "Should have done more research on me. You might run a corporation. I run the streets." Wow, based Jesse, am I right? But amid all of this catastrophe, Nintendo taking a blow from the US Patent Office, Nintendo taking a blow from the Japan Patent Office, all of the negative discourse that is going to be farmed from this YouTuber being sued for 17,000, right? I know a lot of people are going to look at this and say like, oh, well, he kind of deserved it. He was literally live streaming games that weren't even out yet, so the piracy here is obvious, right? I know a lot of people won't feel bad for him, but you guys need to understand how much people hate Nintendo right now, okay? A lot of people in my comments on that video were like saying F that guy, or F Nintendo, going after a little guy, F Nintendo, who cares if it was justifiable, screw Nintendo, blah 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 blah. I was like, guys, like, I understand we hate Nintendo right now, but this one is not like we can't rage on this one. This one unfortunately is a bad thing he did. Like, and somebody told me, like, Valor, don't defend Nintendo. I was like, I'm not defending Nintendo. I'm just saying, I'm just spitting facts, bro. Like, you can't, it's like going to Walmart and stealing something and getting caught and then saying screw Walmart, you know? It's like, come on, man. Side with this guy, even if he actually did something literally illegal, just because people hate the fact that a massive corporation is going after individual people, right? Despite all of the negative backlash that's going to come from that and everything else going on, Nintendo's most recent financial data came out, and as we can see, the latest Switch 2 sales numbers are insane. There's no question that Switch 2 is the biggest console launch ever. It sold 10 million units in 4 months. Nintendo has released its latest quarterly financial report covering up to the end of September. The numbers eradicate any doubt that the Switch 2 is enjoying the most successful console launch of all time. Nintendo said its new console has sold 10.36 million units in the first 4 months between its June 5th launch date and September 30th. It's selling twice as fast as the Switch, which managed 4.7 million units over the equivalent time.
Yeah, I'm a little skeptical on this. Like, I don't know if this is real. Like, you guys heard me on my last Pokemon, the video where we did ZA sales are dropping, and the amount of ZA Switch 2 out there like doubles the Switch 1 when Arceus came out. So We did a conversion there saying like the amount of product out there that could run the game versus the product that was sold. It was like so for every Switch out there, there was like a 6% of them purchased Pokemon. Now with EA, that number is only 3.5 now or something like that, versus the 6.8 it was before. So if there are so much more Switches out there, that means that either Pokemon ZA is that much of a failure, so less and less people are purchasing it, or there's just not as many Switches out there. And I I'm not gonna say they're lying or anything. Maybe it's true, but it just seems hard to believe that more people are buying the Switch 2 versus the Switch. Like I bought the Switch when it came out because it was an awesome concept. But the Switch 2, they could blow it up if you're doing something they don't like. It's super expensive. The quality of the product is not much better than the Switch 1. And the bad publicity right now with Nintendo, I find it very hard to believe that they're selling that many copies, but hey, maybe they are. Who knows?
Time period, the PS5 sold 7.8 million during its first 2 quarters and took 8 months to reach 10 million sales and became Sony's fastest selling console ever, narrowly ahead of the PlayStation 4. Now, I don't love the comparison to the PS5 because, as you guys know, the PS5 came out in 2020. It was really hard to get your hands on one. People were paying insane scalper prices, and so I don't think it's necessarily fair to compare these two. But anyway, on the back of these numbers, Nintendo raised its sales forecast for Switch 2 in the current financial year from 15 million to 19 million units. This would make the Switch 2 Nintendo's biggest seller over its first year, ahead of the Game Boy Advance even, which is insane. Now, 19 million.
Again, does that make sense to you guys? The Game Boy Advance was like revolutionary at the time. It was so hot, so popular, had so many great games on it. I think it was relatively not that expensive when it first came. I'd have to like check that out, but I think when it first came out, it was like in the 150 range, something like that. So like, I don't know, dude. I just find it hard to believe. I truly do find it hard to believe that this is, and like the PlayStation 5, why was that one so hard to find when it came out, but right now I could go find the Switch 2 pretty easily. So I don't know.
Units. That means they expect to basically double what they've already sold in its entire first year, right? So we have June, July, August, September, right? Because it went through September 30th. So in 4 months it sold 10 million, which means they think in the next 8 months it's going to sell another 9 million, right? That's exactly what they just said here. That's totally possible because remember, this through September doesn't include Pokemon Legends ZA launch, which we know in Japan sold a ton of units because they were bundled together, right? And I think that we may see something similar here in the United States and around the world. We're going to see a lot of the Switch 2 Pokemon bundle fly off the shelves, and then on top of that, we are now in holiday season. We are officially in November.
I'll be honest though, if there is a Black Friday sale for a Switch that's like decent price, I might buy it. I might buy it because, well, actually I don't know. I really don't know. There's like really no game I want to play really. Like DA's trash. The Donkey Kong game looked okay, but I hear it's, it's not something you have to, it's not like you have to play. Not like super like, oh my god, if you miss this one, you're missing out. I have my Mario Kart video coming out here in a minute. I guess that one sucks too, and I just found that out the hard way in Halloween party. And that video will come out after this one, I think, or the next 2 videos. It's scheduled to come out. And then what else is on the Switch 2 that I need to play right now? It's I want to buy it to have it so I can play something, but there's nothing really on it I want to play. So maybe I will not buy it actually. If I don't know, we'll see. Unless it's like dirt cheap sale, but Nintendo's probably not going to do that. But there's really nothing on the Switch 2 that I need the Switch 2 for.
We got this month and next month before all of the holidays and before Christmas. We got Black Friday, we have Cyber Monday. Like all of these big things are coming down the pipeline. We have big game releases. We have Hyrule Warriors coming out soon. We have Metroid Prime 4. We have Kirby Air Riders. Like there are big games still coming down the pipeline for the Switch 2. So I think maybe 19 million is possible. I personally feel like that's a little bit high. I would be surprised if it broke 19 million. I know that it's selling well objectively, obviously. I feel like the sentiment of the Switch 2, like the hype, I feel like is really dying down though, right? Like not that many people are talking about Mario Kart World, which was like the biggest game for the console. We also see that Donkey Kong Bonanza sold.
That video is coming out, guys. It's a funny story too, so make sure you watch it. It'll be out today.
3.49 million copies, which is pretty good. It's actually really good, to be honest with you, but it's like a third of what Mario Kart World sold at 9.57 million, a 92% attach rate for the console, which is insane. Obviously a large majority of those was literally just the bundle, right? It makes a ton of sense, but I don't know, I feel like all of the hype for the Switch 2 is really behind us at this point, and we're not going to see more hype for the console until we see another big game release, right? Like we need to see a 3D Mario, we need to see,
So like I know there is hype, right? There's hype. What he's saying is true. The hype is behind us. Well, there was hype, but like remember when it was coming out, there was like a boycott attempt. You know, like I just find these numbers so hard to believe. Like you had literally people trying to say let's boycott this crap, and then supposedly Nintendo was like, oh, by the way, we had huge record sales. Your boycott didn't last, and people were like, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. Did you buy it? No, I didn't buy it. Who bought this crap? So like maybe Nintendo just bought a lot of their own Switches to resell them on like a different market, which is possible. If you guys are aware about the MJ Holdings with Pokemon cards, they are a distributor who sells Pokemon cards. They were exposed for selling them on the third market as a different name in Walmart. The only reason people found out is because they're stupid and they used their same address as the distributor address. So they were taking cards from the distributor pricing, instead of giving them out and allocating it to card shops and everything. They went and posted them on Walmart with like, let's say it's like A and B Comics or something, and A and B Comics was selling the stuff at like, instead of selling to the distributors for $90 a box, they were selling it to the public for $250 a box, and they got caught doing that. So maybe Nintendo's doing something similar. Who knows?
see an actual Pokemon game, right? Legends EA was a joke, everybody knows that. I've covered that game a ton on the channel. So yeah, right now I think the Switch 2 has objectively sold super well, biggest console launch ever. It's going to continue to sell super well through holiday, but I mean, I can only speak for me, right? Like obviously the sales are what they are, the data is the data, you can't argue with the data, right? But for me, I do feel like we've kind of seen the hype die down for the Switch 2. Everyone who wanted one has one, and while there are some big games left coming out, it's no Mario, right? It's no big Pokemon. Like I think the biggest games for the year are behind us, even though a lot of people are hyped for Metroid Prime and for Kirby Air Riders. I don't know, I feel like we need a big Zelda game.
We did a Metroid or Kirby Air Riders video. A lot of people seemed actually pretty excited in the comments. I said it's not a game for me, so I'm not going to buy it for that. Metroid, we'll see how the reviews are looking when it comes out. That's something that I might want to play, so maybe that'd be a reason to get the Switch. But I really think Switch 2 should have opened up with the Smash Bros, man. If they would have opened with Smash Bros, I would have a Switch 2 because I have to play Smash Bros.
Launch, right? Like Hyrule Warriors is a Warriors game. We need like another Breath of the Wild, right? That's going to bring the hype for the Switch 2 through the roof, but we don't have any of that coming down the pipeline, at least from what we can tell. But anyway, it's going to be interesting to see how the Nintendo versus Palworld situation continues to evolve over the course of 2026 and maybe even into 2027. Obviously right now the patent claims are only in Japan still, but this is a huge blow to Nintendo in the United States if they do decide to go after Pocket Pair in the United States as well, which I think a lot of, again, I'm not a legal professional, I have no idea what I'm talking about, but I do think that legal experts suspect that they may attempt to do that, especially if things fall through in Japan, right? Like if Pocket Pair actually wins over there, or if the patent claims get dismissed, or they settle out of court, or whatever the case might be, right? If any of that happens and it doesn't go how Nintendo wants it to go, they're going to do the same thing in the United States, because the United States is one of the biggest markets for video games, and obviously Palworld is no exception there. The game was super popular here as well. So this US Patent Office taking aim at Nintendo here and ordering a re-examination, the literal director ordering the re-examination, to me feels like it is a preemptive blow to that legal strategy that they were probably gearing up to take at some point. Is this going to prevent them from taking legal action against Palworld?
I think this is not gonna. I think this is gonna be a very preventative thing, but maybe not 100% prevent it. But it makes it a lot harder to do this in the U.S. now.
In the United States, probably not, right? Again, they have 2 months to respond to this, so I do think that they probably will. But again, Florian Mueller, I believe,
actually, maybe guys, I'm thinking now, maybe they're doing this in response to the Japanese lawsuit, because they don't want to have to deal with the drama. They don't want to have to be saying no to Nintendo, and they don't want to be getting the backlash from the people. Like they're kind of be like a fence sitter. They want to be right here in the middle. So maybe they're doing this now to preemptively, like maybe they think Nintendo's going to lose the Japanese lawsuit, so maybe they're doing this now to preemptively like try to avoid drama from Nintendo. That could be something, and they could be saying, oh, we're only doing this now because of what we saw in Japan, so we're just trying to get on top of it. Maybe that's something they're trying to do, the patent office. Actually, I just thought about that.
Is a legal professional, don't quote me on that, I believe that they are, but they seem to think that this is some pretty serious stuff and that this patent is definitely going to get re-examined and possibly completely shut down. And who knows, is this going to be a domino effect where further things get re-examined now that everyone is like hyper aware of how awful Nintendo's legal department actually is? It's going to be really interesting to see the developments on this. And of course, if you guys don't want to miss those developments, subscribe down below, because you might think you're subbed but you're actually not. And while you're down there, consider dropping a thumbs up. As you can see from this video, it actually does help get the word out there, and sometimes it causes real change.
So guys, make sure we come and check that out. Make sure you check his channel out, help him out as well. Make sure you guys are liked and subscribed to mine if you want to see more reactions about Nintendo culture, drama, all that stuff. But I really do think this is a great thing. We'll probably be watching his video too with the leak stuff for Gen 10. I'm really excited for that, so we'll see how that goes. If Gen 10 sucks, dude, I'm not going to be playing Pokemon anymore, so better not suck, man, because I really want to enjoy Pokemon again. But I think this is a really good thing for the Palworld's success, and I'm really excited for Palworld 2016's full release. And I know a lot of you are playing it. I'm shocked how many of you are actually buying and playing Palworld. It's like it's having like a new revival, in my opinion. Every day I look, it has like 50,000 people playing every day, like 40 to 50,000. So thank you guys so much for watching the video. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I have that Mario Kart coming out. Check it out. It's a funny story related to it as well. So see you guys for the next one.